Hi there. Thanks very much for joining in today. My name is Stephanie Rogers, and I'm going to give you a quick introduction to our ERP service solution. So once you log into WeClap, you're directed to our dashboard. Our dashboard is divided in three different sections. You have your taskbar on the top, you have your navigation menu on the left-hand side, and you have your widgets dashboard in the center of the page. On the bottom here in this info box, you're able to choose which package you want to test. I've selected the Cloud ERP Service Solution and additional plugins. So, the help desk and the contracts are actually add-ons. Those are not included in the package standardized. However, you can use them in combination with the ERP service package. So getting to the taskbar, you have the option of personalizing that section by adding your logo on the left-hand side here. We have a global new button, so you can easily just enter new sets of data without having to navigate through the menu on the left-hand side. The invite user button is to assign licenses. And the search functionality has a filter function and a detailed search result view. So on the bottom, you have your detailed search results, and then on the left-hand side, you have a little breakdown to whereas the ABC term is included. So if you just wanted to see, say your leads with ABC, it will kind of filter for you. The log on and log off button is for internal time tracking purposes. Your protocol is for, your last visited sites like your search history. Bookmarks is if you wanted to have shortcuts to certain sections within the system. So, like obviously, for example, sales would potentially bookmark a very important customer or a very important opportunity. So you can just easily, keep an eye on that certain module functionality. In WeClub, we decide or distinguish between two different sets of settings. We have your user-based settings, which you can find under the icon here. This is where you can add your email accounts. We have three different account types. So IMAP, Microsoft Exchange, Google Mail. It really works with the organizer, so you can easily access your emails, your address book, your calendar. You can set tasks for yourself and reminders for yourself. So if you're a person who works off a to-do list, for example, this is where you can set it for yourself. Then at the bottom of the page, you have the API token. So this is where you can generate a token to connect an external system to WeClap. And on the bottom, you have your two-factor authentication option. The global settings are on the top here under the settings icon. Those are very important since those are applied throughout your whole organization. So to give you an example, there are basic settings like your commercial languages, your tax information, your currency information. If you're an internationally trading organization and you're actually dealing or trading with different currencies, there's also things like creating your forms, any documents which you send out to your customers. This is where you can configure them and add your own logos. You can import and export your data here, add your financial information. We have some things you can set within sales and purchasing to activate some workflow actions here. This is really to automate certain processes since a lot of organizations are trying to move towards a more automated process internally. So I would, strongly advise you to go through these settings and see, what you can do. The notification, well, the little bell here are your in-app notifications. Over the question mark, this is where you can find your customer number. You have a direct link to our FAQs. You can, type in a question to our knowledge base as well. If you do want to connect an external system to WeClap, this is where you can find our API documentation as well. Before we dive into our navigation menu on the left-hand side, at the center of the page, like I mentioned, that's the widgets dashboard. So, meaning you can personalize that dashboard for yourself, whichever way you like, and, based on your personal preferences. So once you click on plus widgets, you can just enable or disable certain fields. So it's really up to you what you want to see once you log in. So let's dive into the navigation menu on the left-hand side. You have your customer center, which is where you can find the information between yourself and WeClap. So anything contractually agreed, I guess. My users is where you can assign your licenses and manage your users. So if you do decide to become a WeClap customer, this is where you actually assign the licenses. The organizer is in correspondence with your email accounts you have connected. This is where you can access your emails and create meetings and look at your tasks or reminders. I guess what I haven't mentioned is you can upload some documents for yourself or public, as in for your organization. The CRM is your customer management system or your contact management system. There is, however, a introduction video specific for the CRM and a webinar actually as well. So if you are interested in learning more about that section, feel free to have a look at that. What would be important in this section, if you are a service provider, you are able to create booking reports onto your customers. So, if you wanted to create activity on one of your customers and then bill them for it, this is where you can do it on the customer level. But other than that, the CRM is really, to manage your pipeline, to create campaigns and have a look at the customer history. So if you want to create a project for your customer, you can do it under the project module. You can click on the project overview to have a look at all of the ongoing projects within your team. You can then see the resource utilization. So you'll see all of your employees, if they're tied up in different projects. There's a few settings which you can make as well under the My Settings option. So have a look at that. Mainly how the time or how a project should be distributed throughout, like to one of your employees. You can see 0.76. Obviously, I have actually created a project of, say, a total of 20 hours, but I had set that week lab distributes the time of 20 hours and over the project length evenly to one of my employees. That's why you only have nearly an hour each day. So let's go into one of those projects. Let's click on the project overview and dive into one. This is actually a page which you can see throughout the whole WeClap system. It's a detailed page overview. You'll always have further activity buttons on the top here. You'll have additional tabs here. You'll have the fundamental or I guess the main data at the center of the page, and then further additional information on the bottom of the page. On the right-hand side, you'll have, like I guess it's like a consolidated view of the project or of the section you're in. So in the case of a customer, for example, in the CRM, you'll have all the phone calls, all the emails, and all the documents which you've sent to them. Maybe that makes more sense. For the activities, this is where you can actually create different stages for the project. You can, once you create a activity, you can add the planned work or the work plan for this task. And as you go along and create activity for that project, the system will actually progress or show you the progress of the project on the right-hand side. It'll give you information about whether this project is invoiced. It will give you controlling numbers like from the revenue, what's planned, what's actual billed, and on the bottom you'll see that how much of the work has been completed as well. In concerning activity, you can create activity with the stopwatch, or you can create activity manually. Then in the sales module, you can find all of your quotations you had sent to your customer with the status, if your customer actually accepted the quotation or not. A pretty nice feature is actually if we click into one of the open quotations and want to send your customer the quotation, you can create a public link. So once you hit the button here and send the link to your customer, I'm just going to click on it. You can then ask your customer to accept it right away. Obviously, this is, I haven't created any position. That's why it won't let me accept it. But basically, once you hit the accept button, the quotation will be accepted in the workflow, and you're not going to be able to, accept it manually. Then you can access all of your sales orders. So all of your accepted quotations, you can, either go through the workflow that you're creating a quotation before you create a sales order, or you can say, hey, I'm not going to send any quotation to my customer. I actually want to send them a sales order right away. You can also do it that way. Then you can access all of your invoices and your credit notes, your open item list. Then once the invoices are open items, um, you can have a look at them right here. Then you have a filter option as well if you want to just see all of the paid invoices or all of the open invoices. By the product section, you're able to add your articles with the sales price. So once you click on plus new article, this is how you can add it. You have different units. Those are standardized from the system. However, you can add your own units within the global settings. This is where you can add a sales price and then the article type. So obviously, if it's a basic article or a service article in your case. So let's kind of dive into the financials. This is where you can access or connect your bank account. You can have a look at the financial dashboard, which will give you information about all of your sales, all of your purchases, and a brief overview of your annual results. If you do connect your bank account or have some cash sales, this is where the balance will be shown. If you do connect your bank account to WeClap, you'll have the ability for the system to automatically scan your account statements and either give you suggestions to mark certain outgoing open item lists invoices as paid, or it will actually you actually also have the ability of having WeClap automatically match certain payments to certain invoices, so you don't have to worry about marking them paid yourself. In the accounting section, you're able to have a look at your journals. You can create your export to in dative formats. And within the purchasing module, you're able to access all of your incoming invoices and open item lists. So, your accounts receivable. If you want to create some reports for yourself, you can do it under the reporting section. So you can create pre-populated reports, have a look at them, see what you think. Yeah, but that's really all I got for you today. I hope that I could give you a quick introduction to our ERP service solution. And if you do happen to have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. But yeah, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that we can welcome you to the WeClap family soon. Bye.